everybody, Noreen here. Happy New Year. Welcome to my first video of 2018. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently this year. I actually am excited to tell you that I have an ebook in the works of our 1, 2, 3 double page scrapbook layouts. That's going to be available later in February and it's going to have 30 new sketches for you. So I'm very excited about that and I hope you are too. But what I've decided to do each month for 2018 is give you a one-page sketch, kind of a variation on our 1, 2, 3 theme. So it's going to have, or going to use, one piece of cardstock, 2 paper shapes, and it's going to have at least 3 photos, spots for 3 photos. Okay, and each month I'm going to take the sketch, tell you how to put it together, and my videos are going to be a little bit more of a sketch to page process, kind of start to finish, telling you about my design choices, giving you some hints along the way, and letting you really see how fast these layouts can come together. Okay, so I'm going to get back to the sketch and my photos in just a second, but I wanted to show you the products that I'm using for this particular layout today. If you haven't had a chance to see the new Creative Memories Imagine collection, you're really in for a treat. This is a beautiful collection that's going to work for so many different kinds of events. You can see from the red, yellow, and black color scheme that it's going to be perfect for a theme park visit, and you all know which theme park I might be talking about, but it's going to be excellent for so much more. And I'm actually going to use it today with some photos of my boys at a local mall, so I'm going to tell you about that. The collection is chock full. There's a beautiful 12 by 12 album, a fabulous little 8 by 8 Fast to Fab album, a wonderful variety map pack. They are 4 by 6 and 4.5 by 6.5 inch cards. There's some fun stickers, borders, kind of icons, and some great sayings and titles. I'm going to be for sure using those. There's some laser cut embellishments. Now we first saw these types of embellishments with the Countryside Comfort collection back in the fall. These are great. Word art, of course, is all the rage, and we've got some handwritten word art. You can see it there, and some nice chunky word art. I don't know for sure that I'm going to use any of those word art laser cut embellishments, but they are a lot of fun. And then the piece de resistance is the 2 paper packs. Yes, 2. So we have a lovely tone-on-tone paper pack, which is just dots and stripes in the black, yellow, and red plus white. And that's going to be really versatile. And then the designer paper pack is 12 different really super fun papers. So stripes, stars, swirls, polka dots, chevrons, hearts. I love those hearts, as well as some word art. And you guessed it, my favorite is the plaid. So that's what I'm going to be using today. This particular paper is the plaid on one side, and then a really nice kind of subtle tone-on-tone black and gray word art background. So that's what I'm going to be using. Okay. Now, the beauty of these particular new layouts that I'm doing is that you can either cut your paper shapes from one piece of the double-sided paper, or you can raid your stash and find some different papers that work together. So in the cutting guide, I'm going to give you the directions for cutting the paper shapes out of a 12 by 12 inch double-sided piece of paper, but I'm also going to give you the dimensions. So if you want to raid your stash, you can just find pieces of paper that would be in those dimensions. All right, so a little bit of instructions there, but the rest is pretty self-explanatory from looking at the sketch. So let's go ahead and get cutting. This particular paper, as I mentioned, has word art on one side. So I do want to make sure that the piece that I'm going to be using showing the word art has the words going in the right direction. So this piece I'm going to actually use as my large background piece. So that means if I want them going sideways, I'm going to have to cut this way, so that my large piece, when I turn it sideways, is going to show my words in a readable format. All right, so all we have to do is cut it at 3 inches. All right. And I've got my 9 by 12 inch piece, which is going to go sideways across the page. And then I'm going to flip this over, and my plaid piece is the one I'm going to use for my border. Now you'll notice that in the sketch here, I've kind of dovetailed or snipped the ends of my 3 by 12 inch strip to kind of make a banner or a dovetail design. So you can go ahead and do that. I'm just going to kind of follow the lines in the plaid design. So you can see I just folded it gently corner to corner, and then I just followed the lines. Okay, so that's my border piece. Got a couple snips there. And then I've got my 3 photos that I'm going to adhere as so. Now, I mentioned that these photos were actually taken at a mall near Calgary. We have a really large kind of destination mall called Cross Iron Mills, and it's an outlet mall with, you know, hundreds of stores, but they really tried to turn it into a place where, you know, there's lots of fun things to do as well. So one day last summer, when we were under a real heat wave and when we had forest fires nearby in BC, and you know, the air quality was horrible, so we were looking for something to do inside. We went down to the mall, and there was the shooting gallery in the Bass Pro Shops. There was a virtual reality kind of terminal ride, and it was just after Canada Day, so there was lots kind of fun Canadiana around. So that's where these pictures were taken. So definitely not a huge theme park, but a fun little adventure anyways. Now I had these photos printed with a white matte border, so I didn't have to do any matting. You can choose to matte them or not. Depends really on how much they contrast with your background. But I do like how that white border makes them stand out a bit. That's pretty much the layout now that I've got it together. When I was looking at these stickers, there was a few things that caught my eye. First of all, I had put some stars in my layout here, but I don't think I'm actually going to use stars because I have this big heart in the middle of my picture here. And I thought, you know what, there are some really fun little heart shapes here. And yeah, and here's the other one. So there's a couple of smaller hearts here. Also, I have a title that has a heart in it. Love This Place, which would be a really nice, you know, it's not specific to a theme park or any particular place. So this would work out really well for a title. Now, I could also, as I mentioned, use some of those, as my word art titles go. Okay, so maybe there would be, you know, love. But I'm just finding that because they're either red or black, they're not going to necessarily go very well with my background. They'll show up on this one if they're black, they'll show up on this one if they're red. But I want to show, I want the title to show up and stand out from both. Now you could certainly move the title. If you were wanting to do something like this, you could certainly put the title, you know, down here, and then maybe use one of the matte packs as your journaling card, and you could put your journaling up here. So again, I always say these sketches are really just the jumping off point for you. Okay, so let's get this adhered down, and then we can decide on some embellishments. Okay, let me just make sure my adhesive is together. There we go. All right, and you know, in terms of adhesive, definitely you don't need it all the, you know, a full strip of it. Just a few, and I'm out. Well, this gives me a chance to show you how easily you can change it. Literally just pick up your empty refill, drop in a new one. You'll see that there's some pegs here that line up with the pegs on the back of the refill. Drop it in. Sorry, let me just get it lined up, and then put your cover back on. Okay, and you're good to go. All right, so just a few smidges of adhesive. And I'm going to just eyeball it, but I would like maybe a little bit more at the bottom than at the top. Now I use this X-Acto background mat, so I can kind of see, there's 1 inch, that's 2 inches. There's 1.5 inches at the top and the bottom. I'm going to put it a little bit closer to 2 inches at the bottom and 1 inch at the top. All right, and then some adhesive on the back of my strip. And again, I'm just going to kind of place that. I didn't cut any of the length off, so it's going to really pretty much go from top to bottom. And then I can add my photos, and I think this is the way I have them. Now, when I'm adding photos, you know, the guideline I like to have is I like to line up edges for symmetry. So this edge goes with this edge. And then I like to keep the same distance between all of the photos. That gives it a really nice crisp look. It's very easy on the eye in terms of it makes sense. It balances to the eye. And I mean, I'm definitely more of a symmetrical scrapbooker. I do like things to be lined up, but I don't worry about getting them too precise. You hear me say quite often that I sort of eyeball things. Okay? All right. So as I mentioned, I'm going to use some hearts. So I've got a couple of big ones. Now these ones are white background. And this title that I wanted to use is also a white background. Okay, so that's going to look a little bit white. I might think about adding some other colors. Maybe I'll add some of these arrows, or again, there's some smaller hearts. Let's put these down and see. I think what I'll do is I'm going to, you've seen how I kind of cluster a couple of the embellishments with the title. So maybe if I put kind of one about here on the black, okay, and one up here on the red paper, okay, and then I'm going to lift my title up with some foam squares. What I love about these particular stickers from Creative Memories is that they're like a heavy cardstock, so they're not like a flimsy little sticker. They will stand up if you use foam squares behind them. They're not going to kind of collapse into themselves. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to kind of bridge those two hearts. Okay, now I do think I might want to use some of these other words to give it a little bit more color and focus there. Okay. But I know what I'm also going to do is use some of these other hearts. See, there's these hearts too. It's a lot of white. This is what I mean by design decisions. You know, I don't know if you talk to yourself while you are scrapbooking, but I often talk to myself. Even if I'm not making a video, I'll kind of talk to myself. All right, so I'm going to add a little foam square to this red background, a heart with the red background, and I'm going to just pop that up to make a bit of a cluster there. All fingers, all thumbs today. Okay, up. One more time. There we go. Okay, and then I think, let me see, I do like this idea of dream, or I love this, or maybe even memories. Yeah, I don't want to say I love this because I've already said I love this place or love this place. What about something like happy? Happy. Well, maybe fun. That'd be nice, and just add a little bit of yellow. Now, you'll see that I often will kind of overlap and cluster the different embellishments, and that just connects things and makes it into a cluster. If I had love this place, fun, heart, heart, they would all feel kind of disjointed. But by adding them together and overlapping them, as well as popping some off of the surface, it creates more of a clustered approach. Okay, so I think that's all I want to do up at that part. I do want to add my journaling down here, just like this, and then I'm going to add another maybe little embellishment cluster here. I need a pencil. All right, you've seen me use this. This is a 0 centering ruler. It has a 0 in the middle and then goes up to 6 inches on either edge. The other thing I like is that it's got little holes. I don't know if you can see. Let me get rid of that adhesive. I don't know if you can see these little holes. So if you're doing, you know, paper piercing or wanting to just do it, you know, dots around the edge, you can use those. They're evenly spaced. And then there's also these kind of template lines. You know, you can always use the edge of a ruler for journaling lines, but these ones are nice because they're kind of template lines. So I will often just kind of use those and then just move it down so that the previous line is covered up by one of the lines on the ruler, and that way I get exact spacing every time, but it goes very quickly. Now I'm not putting my journaling all the way across the bottom because I do want to add that little bit of an embellishment cluster here. Okay, so a hot summer day when we didn't want to be outside was the perfect day to spend inside at Cross Iron Mills. You know, I think that's all I pretty much need to say. You know me, I always like to document when it happens. That was summer 2017. I think that's pretty much all I want to say there. I might, because I'm saying outside and inside, I might kind of write those in, you know, capital letters. So let me just go over this. I've mentioned this before as well, but I use a Staedtler Pearl eraser, white eraser. I've never had problems with the Creative Memories pens smearing or smudging on me. So, you know, pretty much as soon as I finish writing, I can go ahead and erase. Okay. Then I can see if I've made any mistakes. That one looks a little bit, there we go. Okay, not perfect, but that's okay. So now all I have to do is kind of finalize my little embellishment cluster off to the side here, and that is done. So there are a couple more of these nice little hearts. Now, because it's a white background, if I pulled one of these hearts, it would kind of just show up as the outline. I could do something like kind of make a little cluster with those stickers. Okay, I have another heart I remember seeing somewhere. There's a little yellow one. So again, I could do a little, you know, cluster like this. That doesn't look too bad. What else have we got? Or maybe something like this would be kind of fun. This is a nice sort of, oops, sunburst. It's a little hard to get off the... So what if we did something like this? Put the sunburst down and then popped the heart up and off it. I think that would look good. That'll give a little bit, oops, that'll give a little bit of dimension, and it'll also provide a little bit of background between the heart and the white background. Now, because I've got red, yellow, black in my other embellishment cluster, I think that I would like to add another little piece of word art here. And again, I'm going to choose the red so that all of my colors are repeated, right? So I've got red, yellow, and black in this cluster, red, yellow, and black in this cluster, hearts, word art. It's too bad I didn't have another maybe little burst. I could put this large burst in behind. This is what I mean by, as I said, kind of the sketch to process. I'm talking out loud, I'm thinking about what I want to do. I like that. So you know what? I'm just going to come in here with my, put that down. I'm going to come in here with my multi-purpose tool and gently peel up that sticker. Okay. I'm going to take that burst, kind of slide it in and under. Yes, I like that. And then I'm going to replace this one. Might have to use another foam dot. Okay. All right, so then again, you know, just in terms of what we've done is we've really repeated all of the elements. A burst, hearts, hearts, and word art. So it's all really kind of repeating and showing the different elements in that cluster. All right, so I think that is it. As I said, I would just go over this and make sure I've got all of the pencil lines erased. Double check that my adhesive is good in all these spots, and that's it. Okay, so that's the finished layout. Gone from our sketch to our layout. You can see that it's quite similar. I do want to mention to you that if you're really wanting some ideas for the 2-page layout, what I would recommend is that you mirror the 1-page layouts and create a second page. So take this on this side, and then basically you're going to create another one that's just like it, but a mirror image, a reverse image, and then you'll be able to have a lovely 2-page layout. The other thing to remember is that if you don't have 3 photos in the orientation that I suggest on the layout, feel free to turn it. So again, by putting the, turning the border and putting that along the bottom, you could easily get 2 vertical photos along with the 4x4 and then put your cluster here, or even bring that one down here and put your title up at the top. Okay, so these 1-page layouts are meant to be really quick and easy, and you know, use them however you need to use them. Okay, make them suit your needs. All right, so I'd love to hear your comments on the sketch to page process videos, and hopefully you enjoy it, and that's what we're going to be kind of doing each month. I certainly will keep you informed as to when the ebook is available. Again, I'm really excited about that. 30 new sketches for you, and you'll be able to have those at your fingertips. All right, so I'll be sure to show one last shot of this and a couple of the little cluster details for you at the end of the video. All right, thanks very much. We'll see you again next month with another sketch to page video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.